All right, so let's go back to um, reviewing what you did on uh, Wednesday with addition and subtraction, reviewing that as far as with equations. So, again, remember that our main goal here is that we are trying to keep things balanced. So, here's my little balance scale. And if I've got two x's over here, I have to have it balanced. Same thing is if it looks like this and it's balanced, and I had an X over here and a 5 over here, you would tell me, oh, wait a minute, I know that X must equal 5 because that's the only way that keeps that balanced. Or if I said I had an X and 3 blocks over here, and over here I had 10. Let's say we had 10 blocks. Okay, these are going to be terrible. They're going to be circle blocks. Okay, and I said, well, if that's the case, how much does X worth? How much is X worth? Well, one way to do that would be to say, okay, well, I don't need these three blocks. Let's get rid of those. Wait a minute, that's kind of like subtraction, isn't it? Because they were being added to the X, but now I'm going to subtract them off. But now I'm not balanced. So I've got to go to the other side of the scale and also get rid of 3. And then when I do that, I find out that X equals 7. Okay? So that's kind of the idea visually of what we're trying to do here. Okay? And if it helps to draw it out visually, do that. So let's say if I had X plus 8 equals 23. So my goal, remember, the ultimate goal is that I want this X all by itself. So I have to look at and say, well, how do I get this X all by itself? Well, to do that, this needs to be gone. Well, that's a plus 8. So the only way to make that positive 8 go away is to subtract 8 off of it. But if I do it on one side, I have to do it on the other. This cancels. I'm left with X over here equals 23 minus 8 is, almost forgot there, 15. So X would equal 15. We can test that by going up here and saying, okay, let's put 15 in for X. Does 15 plus 8 give me 23? Boom, it does. All right? Let's look at just one more because we're going to move into multiplication and division today. So if I had X minus 12 equals 34. Now, your brain instantly may go, okay, 34 minus 12, that's going to be X equals 22. But that's not what we're asking you to do. We're saying some number minus 12 is going to give me 34. And if I plugged in 22 here and did 22 minus 12, that's 10. That doesn't check out. So that's not right. But what I can do is balance it out. This is what I want by itself. This is what I need gone. This is minus 12. So the only way to undo that and get rid of it is to add 12. That cancels. But whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other. 34 plus 12 is 46. X equals 46. I can test it. 46 minus 12 does give me 34, and we're good. All right, so today let's look at solving equations where we use multiplication to solve it. Now, when would we use that? Well, if there's division, multiplication is the opposite. And you may go, well, wait a minute, Mr. Darnell. Let me zoom these in a little bit. You may look at that and say, well, Mr. Arnold, there's not division there. But there is, because fractions are division. This is saying x divided by 3 equals 9. Well, if that's the case, we're saying something divided by 3 equals 9. Well, again, some of you may, um, your instant thought is to go, okay, well, 9 divided by 3 is 3. So x must equal 3. No, back it up, okay? Back up the train a little bit here. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that some number here, if I divided it by 3, would give me 9. Well, if I put 3 in there and did 3 divided by 3, that doesn't work out. So that's not what I want. So we're going to have to balance this and undo, okay? So to do that, I like to draw this line because it keeps my sides separated. So this is the variable that I want to keep. This is what I need gone. Well, that 3 is being divided. So the only way to make it go away is by multiplying by 3. And we go, how did you pick 3? I picked 3 because that's what that number was. Like over here, I'm going to use 11. Okay, so it changes depending. So this is going to cancel out those 3's, leaving me with x over here. But what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. 9 times 3 is 27. And if I plug that back in, does 27 divided by 3 equal 9? It does. So I'm good there. Okay. I'm not going to turn you loose just yet. So we're going to do a couple more before I have you try one. Okay. So draw my line to know my sides. That's what I want by itself. That's my goal. This is what I want gone. I have to look and say, well, how do I get that gone or away? Well, the 11 is being divided, so I'm going to multiply to make it cancel, leaving me with k. But whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. 5 times 11 is 55. I can check it. Notice I could always check my answer. You'll always know if you have it right. Just plug it in, substitute. 55 divided by 11 is 5. That checks out. All right. Let's let you try one. And again, remember, like if you start missing these at the beginning, it's okay. I'm wanting you to learn from it. I'm going to go over it. You do your very best, and then listen, catch your mistake, try it different the next time. Okay? It's okay. This is the learning phase. You're supposed to get some of these wrong, and that's okay. Mistakes are good. We learn from them. I'm perfectly fine with you making mistakes. I promise. Okay? Remember that. You know that's the case. You know we celebrate our mistakes. All right, so you try number 3. Okay? So let's see how you did. This is what I want by itself. This is what I want gone. And since that's division, I'm going to have to multiply to make it cancel. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So I get m equals 42. Okay? Try number 4 and see how you do. Okay, now this one might have thrown you just for a second because it's all on the opposite. But remember, this is not the problem answer. It doesn't matter. They're both just expressions and they're balanced. So the variable can be on either side. This is what I want by itself. This is what I want gone. It's still the same process. It's being divided, so to make it go away, I multiply. What I do to one side, I do to the other. I get 16 for C, and that would be my answer. All right, let's look at what to do when we have multiplication, so we have to solve by dividing. Okay. So let's look at number 5 here, and I'll do a couple, and then I'll have you do a couple. So 6 times y equals 24, because remember, anytime they're beside each other like that, that means multiplication. So I want this y by itself. The 6 is all up in its business, right? The y is like, please get out of my bubble. You are driving me crazy. You have to go home. Okay, well, how do we get rid of that 6? Since it's being multiplied, the only way to get rid of it is by dividing. And we're going to divide by the same coefficient to make it go away. Boom. That leaves us y over here. I have to do the same thing over here. 24 divided by 6 is 4. Y equals 4. I can test that. Does 6 times 4 equal 24? It does. It checks out. I am good. All right. Let's try this one. Okay. This is what I want by itself. This is what I need gone. Okay. The 2 is all up in F's bubble. So it's being multiplied. So the only way to get rid of multiplication is to divide. Boom. But what you do to one side, you do to the other. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So F equals 15. I can test that. 2 times 15, does that equal 30? And it does. All right. So your turn. Try number 7. Okay. And I know some of you did this in your head instantly. You were like, duh, Mr. Darnell. And some of you didn't, and that's okay too. I just know some of you did. I'm reading your minds, and I know you did. But I still want you to know these steps because they're not always going to be able to be done in your head. It's going to get harder. I promise. Okay. Ask the folks that enter 7th grade math right now. They're going to tell you the same thing. It gets harder. So you have to learn these basic steps now. All right. So my goal, I want n by itself. It's being multiplied. So I've got to divide. What I do to one side, I do to the other. N equals 1. Okay, try number 8. Okay, that's what I want by itself. That's what I want gone. It's being multiplied, so I would divide. What I do to one side, I do to the other. P equals 9. It's a lot of P. All right, so let's do some practice then. Try number 9. Okay. X is what I want by itself. 2 is what I want gone. It's being divided, so I've got to multiply to make it go away. X equals 14. Try number 10. N is what I want by itself. It's being multiplied, so I have to divide to make it go away. 48 divided by 8 is 6, so N equals 6. Try number 11. All right, let me zoom that in. Okay, now try number 11. Okay, C is, excuse me, C is what I want by itself. 3 is what I want gone. It's being multiplied, so I'm going to divide. C equals C equals 9. Choking. I promise I'm okay. Oh. All right, let's try number 12. Go. Okay, Z is what I want by itself. 2 is what I need gone. It's being divided, so I'm going to multiply. Z equals 24. Okay, now this is again kind of like what we did with addition and subtraction. It's just saying, hey, can you check to see if it's true? Like, here's the equation. Someone is saying they think P equals 12. Is that true? All you have to do is to say, does 7 times 12 equal 84? Why, yes, it does, actually. So I would write yes for that one. Okay. We go over here. Does A equal 18? I plug everything in. Does 18 divided by 3 equal 6? It does. So yes, A equals 18. All right, you try one. Let's do number 26. Try number 26. Okay. Does C equal 10? 10 divided by 2, does that equal 8? No, actually it doesn't. 10 minus 2 does, but that's not minus, that's division. So no, that is not a true statement. Okay. Let's do, I'm trying to see what questions I have left here. Okay, let's go to the screen then. We're not going to do all of these. I just put a lot of extra questions just in case. Okay, try number 13. Okay, F is what I want, 3 is what I want gone. I have to divide. What I do to one side, I do to the other. F equals, ooh, what does F equal? 3 goes into 5 once. F equals 19. Okay, last one. Okay. Now, some of your on your brains instantly went z equals 1. I know you did because it actually did it in my brain just for a second. And then I went, oh, wait a minute, that's not true. That's impossible. Because if I plugged 1 in for z, 1 divided by 6 does not equal 6. So this is what I want. This is what I want going. It's being divided. So I have to multiply. Gone. I'm left with z over here. And that equals 36. All right. And that is where we are going to stop.